All right. On today's episode, I welcome on a very special guest. He is Wes Brown. He's the founder and owner of the Monday Morning Scouting Report. How's it going, Wes?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. How's everything going so far?
Good. It's been obviously pretty busy. Had EYBL this past weekend in Indiana, and recruitment is starting to pick up for a lot of Canadian kids. I'm sure, as you know, like the transfer portal has been hit pretty aggressively, and I think as things are dying down, as the top guys are leaving, those open spots are becoming more available for high school kids right now. So trying to get all the Canadian kids kind of situated.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it sounds like you've been busy. I mean, EYBL, that must have been like a cool event to be a part of. Seeing new celebrities. How was that event like?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in my career, I mean, there are big names, but it doesn't phase me. I'm just trying to get them to get my service, to be honest. It was good. It's a grind. I mean, for me, there's so many things I have to do with it. I have to, talk to coaches and make sales, talk to my clients and discuss the guys that I think that they should be recruiting that are there, writing my report, taking the video and posting it as well, phone calls, everything. It's a madhouse for 72 hours pretty much for me, but it's over and I'm alive. So that's all
That's
about.
well, well, that's the most important thing that you're alive and it's over with, and you can kind of draw. I mean, so is it just you that runs this whole thing by yourself, or do you have anyone else, or is it just by yourself?
Yeah, it's just me. I have my video guy, Scandy Sports, who does a great job and has come in and like really understands the spaces and social media and all that I don't. So he's helped me a lot. But yeah, I mean the scouting and the business is just me. So I don't know if I'm smart doing that or if I'm stupid, but nonetheless, yeah, I like kind of being, my own boss and being in control of everything and the scouting, especially like, I don't, I guess I don't really trust people. So I do it all myself pretty much. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, I mean, I want you to tell the listeners about like, about the business that you do, the scouting business that you do. How did the Monday morning scouting report come about? How did you decide to do this?
Um, the business came about. I'd heard it's initially I'd heard someone got a job, I think with the Nuggets from a scouting website. And I looked at their site and thought I could do it. So I think mine was a little more aesthetically pleasing. It was called NBAprospects.com, which I still have the URL for my actual current business because it's just too good to pass up.
Yeah.
And so I did it on the draft. I had a website for, with scouting reports, all the intel, everything you needed to know on the draft. And then that got me a job with the Dallas Mavericks with their G League team. They wouldn't sign my visa, and it was becoming more difficult to get more involved. So, based here in Toronto, I just started going to high school games, started watching all the college basketball that I could again, and just sending out weekly reports. And my way of kind of staying in the front of everyone's mind, so that if a job became available, they would think of me, was to send out a weekly report, which was me being a pest without being a pest. Every Monday they knew they could get a report, and then I just started calling it the Monday Morning Scouting Report. I kept just going to high school games blindly and building relationships and meeting people and writing reports on kids, and kind of just put my head down and kept going and just kept trying to find a niche and a way to differentiate myself. And it kind of grew and grew and grew into what it is now. I help teams at every level pretty much, recruit Canada at every level, whether it's intel they want, transfer information, high school scouting, contact info. I help everything from NBA teams down to Canadian universities do all that stuff.
Oh my God, that's crazy. So, and you do this all by yourself, which is absolutely wild to like, handle all this. Like, I mean, I can only
So
imagine the amount of players and scouts kids that you scouted and everything. You're doing it all by yourself.
yeah, I mean it's a grind, but once you figure out the landscape of the land wherever it is that you're doing it, it's not so hard. And I love doing the work, so it's good, man. I'm where I wanted to be, so I can't complain.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, do you sleep at all, or how does it work for you?
No.
I love it. Well, that's awesome. I mean, like when you build those relationships, how do you build the relationships with the coaches and players as well as the NBA teams? Like, how do you get in touch? Is it word of mouth or how's it all work out?
Well, I mean, for example, at the EYBL, there's coaches left, right, and center, and I make it a point to go up to everyone and introduce myself. And, you kind of got to give them a little something to show, like as an example at the highest level. I mean, there's a kid, Leonard Miller, right now, right, who's declared for the draft and looks like he might be a first round pick and might not have to go, the college or G League route, whatever he's going to do. And I have texts from October, November telling NBA teams, telling everyone like, hey, this is the guy you should be recruited. Like you should be already starting to watch him for NBA teams and for my high major clients. You should be recruiting this kid already, yeah. And I have the receipts. So not just being right, but having the information and all that is how you build your relationships and how you get people to get your service and to trust you. It's the whole business, unfortunately, or fortunately, is word of mouth. You put your word on the line, and that holds a lot of weight. So, I said that this kid was going to be that, and he's, on mock drafts and stuff. Nobody had even seen him or heard of him. And I'm posting that, hey, there's this kid. I think he's an NBA prospect. So that's how stuff gets done, honestly, a lot of the time. So this weekend, I go to coach, hey, you should go watch this kid or that kid, and they go watch him and they like him. Oh, suddenly they trust me, so. But at the start, it's nice now knowing the lay of the land and being kind of the guy in Canadian scouting. But at the start, I blindly just called teams. I'd find emails, I'd figure out, okay, the Raptors emails are formatted wbrown@raptors.com. So if I send to emi@raptors.com, that's going to get to Masai, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it works, great. So I do stuff like that for the whole league. I'd go to events like Portsmouth Invitational and just try to build relationships with NBA guys. And I mean, it's scary, but you just got to get after it, introduce yourself to people, and find a way to provide value that they can't otherwise get.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, has anyone ever offered you, NBA guys offer you a full scouting job or anything besides the Dallas Mavericks, besides that incident? Like anyone else have come up to you and been like, hey, we would like to have you on our staff, or has that not happened yet?
No, it hasn't. It's an interesting industry. I mean, I think I've proven it more than enough, but it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason, and perhaps that hasn't happened because I'm meant to grow this business into a beast rather than, go work for someone. Like there's no limit. I mean, I have Canada on lock right now, and I have my Monday hoodies. I should be wearing one right now, but it's in the wash, at least the one I have left because I gave them to all the kids. But I have my Monday hoodies that are blowing up. I mean, I just don't know where it's going to go. So, but no, I haven't really. I mean, I think that's coming pretty soon, and I think I'm supposed to go out at least 2 teams and go talk to their staff about the Canadian guys in the draft and kind of see the process firsthand from them. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, for now.
Okay. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. And that's awesome for yourself to be get looked at by, to go meet NBA staff about the league and everything. And it sounds like the business is growing crazily and, and everything like that. And I want to ask another question about yourself too, is the eye. How does the scouting eye come into place? How do you see where guys go? Did you coach or play? How did it all come about? Or did you just see so much basketball that you can tell by looking at it?
Yeah, I mean, years of watching, kind of really delving into the mindset of players, trying to figure out do they really care about winning? That's my number one thing. A lot of guys really look at talent, and I focus on, how do they affect the outcome of the game? And sometimes I would take a guy that maybe I'm certain cares about winning, who's much less talented than a guy who, for example, an Anthony Edwards, who's super talented, but just not and I would obviously take him on my team, but not my type of player because, does he really care about winning? Does he have the discipline to take smart shots when the game's on the line? Or is he going to play wild, and he'll figure it out. But I'm just using as an example, versus the types of guys that I like, which is really second round type guys like Dante DiVincenzo or D'Anthony Melton, guys who have been great winning pieces, because they're able to affect the game in so many areas. And so the guys that I look for, I mean, look, the star talent is pretty obvious, right? That doesn't take a real scout to find that. But I think where kind of I differentiate myself is, like, there's two things that I really look for, which is motor and IQ. And if they show me those things, then I know that they care about winning and that they're willing to give up, their own points and stats for the team. Motor, do they play hard on both ends? One way I really like to see that is, if they go down on the offensive end for a few possessions and don't get touches, are they still going to give the same effort defensively? And second of all, IQ. At the highest level, you're looking for a playmaker that can make the right play, that can think the game off the bounce, at the fastest speed, a high major game, whatever it is. But even less so, just IQ, willing to rotate quickly and think the game at a high level and make the right extra pass and make the right dump off and just give up their own numbers for the team. And if you find guys who do both those things, then they're a safe bet to succeed to me. And I just really, I don't like risking on guys that I'm just not comfortable with. So players like that are really my style. And they tend to succeed because whether they get 5 minutes or 30, they're going to make the right refined decision in those limited minutes to help them earn more minutes and, eventually play a role. And, maybe my types of guys, aren't the superstars to succeed with or without the ball. And, there's one ball and 10 players, right? All things equal, you touch the ball 10% of the time. So that's kind of how I look at it in general. That's my scouting side, because the superstar side is obvious, right?
Yeah. It's pretty, you can see who the guys that really stand out and everything. The cool thing I like about, I watched a few of your reports and the show that you do, and it's really great and everything that you do. One of the cool things I like is, instead of stars, you have the maple leaves to rate your players, everything. Where that idea come from? It seems so simple, but it's awesome that you've taken that and ran with it. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I just stole it. That was friends' ideas.
Really?
Yeah, that was some of my friends' ideas. And I try not to do rankings because it just causes issues and it's stupid. But if team one needs a 1 and team 2 needs a 2, what does it matter who's ranked 1 or 2? You're going to take the position that you need. But I noticed that the recruitment of a lot of American kids is based on their star rankings and stuff like that, right? So to kind of help build the hype in Canada that doesn't exist yet here, I thought that would be a really good, idea and some momentum to have behind the kids that, I rated them. And look, it's not the same scale as in America. I'm rating them on a Canadian scale, right?
Yeah.
So a 5-leaf guy here might be a 4-star guy in America, but it's just a way to give recognition to the kids to help boost their stock. And we'll see what it turns into. But I think moving forwards, I hope that, when I'm gone doing this, everybody moving forward is going to do our Maple Leaf rankings rather than the stars in the States,
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. That's a great idea. And it's great that you're able to run with it and do that. And I think that, like you said, to help him get some notice for the kids around the area and in Canada and everything. But I also want to know the talent in Canada has grown so much, I think, from to now, of how talented there is basketball players. What is that a test to? Where does that come from?
I think a number of things, starting with probably Vince, interest being, high, in the Raptors, when the Raptors starting to win, Vince's dunk contest, all that kind of stuff, right? And then more recently, I mean, having big name guys like Wiggins, let's say, and what else, Murray, I mean, all the top picks, who else is there? Bennett, all those types of, the more guys like that come up, the more, on a grand scale that kids see it. And what's happened is, at every level, everybody sees the amount of talent, right? And when you see the amount of talent, more AAU teams are popping up and trying to find those kids. And I'm here now, and we're all trying to find the next 6'10" grade 8 kid, whatever it is, right? So I think the infrastructure is built on itself as you see more and more of these types of players popping up, and the interest in the sport has grown with it. And it feels like every kid that grows up these days wants to play basketball. I don't know about hockey, but they definitely all want to play basketball. The popularity is through the roof countrywide. So I really think it's built on itself with that initial NBA interest that trickled down, and the AU teams and the coaching with the amount of talent that's in local areas, and then everybody those top teams going to find them out east and out west, and being year-round programs, and the prep scene started, and now it's grown more and more as more NBA guys have started to come out of it. So it's built on itself, and we're still nowhere near where we're going to be, but it's growing.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I feel like just from respect, I feel like back, like Steve Nash was the only like really well-known Canadian basketball player at the time back when I was growing up. And compared to like fast forward like 10, 15 years later, there's like, there's a ton of guys from Canada now playing in the league, and you're starting to see them coming over and playing college basketball more. And it's cool. I mean, it's great for the game of basketball because it's growing, and, and everything like that. So that's great. I mean, how do you determine which like prep school scene do you go to, like prep schools do you go to watch, like, or do you go everywhere? Like, how does that work out for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, at the start of the season, you definitely have to go see everyone. I try to cross, like, I make a list kind of, but there's tournaments and stuff. I mean, once you build enough of a brand and stuff, people let you see on social media, you get tagged and everything. So you just have to figure out, pick and choose which places to go. I mean, obviously the same teams have been at the top of, like, Orangeville's been at the top for a long time.
Yeah.
Crestwood's had a strong program for a while. Now you have some new teams like United Scholastic and Fort Erie that are building, that have a lot of the top talent as well. And you're just, you also build the relationships countrywide with coaches and people in the provincial programs and stuff to, try to find out if there's guys. And, you hear whispers once you build that network, you hear whispers about guys and stuff. So you just got to figure it out as you go. Like, instead of kind of overthinking it and thinking grand, I just try to go to one thing at a time and piece it all together as we go. And, like, honestly, by a month or two into the season, like, I have it all pretty much covered.
That's awesome. All right. So I want to know some of the best player right now coming out of Canada, or your thoughts on like some of the best players coming out of Canada that we should be on the lookout for on the college level.
Well, I'm not sure you'll see them on the college level, but the top two guys this year, Elijah Fisher, who's 6'6", strong body wing that just has, a man's body, man's strength, super aggressive attacker, pretty good skill set as well. Shot needs some work, but so do honestly most prospects. He's deciding between a number of things, either going pro, overtime, or G League, or high major teams. I've heard interest from a lot of teams like Oklahoma State, Alabama, Auburn, where else? I'm trying to remember. Texas Tech. So he's got big time high major interest, and we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what he'll do. He could actually also go back for a fifth year. And then there's Leonard Miller, who's starting to show more and more on draft boards. A 6'11" guard. Well, they list him as whatever they want to list him as, but he's kind of a do it all offensively. He can play with the ball in his hands and without. Very quick off his feet, great shot maker, scorer that puts a lot of pressure on the rim. But he put his name in the draft, and if the interest is there, he probably just ends up going. Like, I think he's good enough, so we'll see what he does.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I've seen Leonard Miller's name like pop up a bunch, and see him come up about. Now, who are players that that we don't know about yet that were probably that in your mind that could be like nationally known wide, or players that could be coming, playing or going following the same footsteps as Elijah and Leonard?
Yeah, I mean the look, I always say the job of a high school scout is more tracking than it is scouting. Like
Yeah.
you're just watching how these guys develop, right? Like Leonard was, 6'5", 6'6", and within 2 years maybe or so grew 5 inches. You know,
Jeez.
so you never really know. Like the next probably guarantee. There's a kid Efiosa Oliogu. Um, he plays for United Scholastic. They made the OSBA final, the prep final here in Canada, and as a grade 10, he had 25 points.
Wow.
Yeah, like a 6'6" wing that's just elite attacker and playmaker off the bounce, just shifty and just has all the tools. I mean, the shot needs work, but as long as that comes along enough, he's an NBA player. Like he's a pretty clear NBA player. So we'll see. There's a number of other guys that are really intriguing. Someone that Rhode Island recently offered, Vashawn Alette, from the same team as a 6'3" combo guard that's skilled as all hell and that, is an excellent on-ball defender. Christian Nitu, 6'10", kind of grab and go power forward that, looks like a unicorn type. And if he develops the skill set, I mean, he moves a lot like Leonard Miller. So, maybe he can end up becoming a high level guy like that. There's a lot of names, man. I think Afosa is the most obvious guarantee, but you just never know. And the guy who you slate to be first a year ahead might, someone might surpass them and end up being like the obvious NBA prospect. So, like I said, you're just really tracking a lot more than you are, projecting. I mean, you can project ability, but you just don't know who's going to grow.
Yeah, it's a good point. You don't know how much work, like, putting in the off season, and as well as to how much, like you said, how much they're going to grow. Like you said, Leonard Miller just grew 6 inches. It sounded like in a span of like 2 years. I wish I could still grow, but I think I'm too short now. I can't. I'm waiting for
Yeah,
my growth spurt to hit.
mine never came either.
Yeah, I always make a joke that I'm waiting for my second growth spurt to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen in my mid 30s. But well, that's awesome. I mean, Wes, I mean, it's cool. It's great. You like everything that you're doing has been so successful. I mean, being Canada's scout, the go-to guy, and being known as, like, Canada's #1 scout, and everything that you're doing for basketball in Canada. It's awesome to, speak to you and have you on the show, and you keep growing the show. Where can people, find your website, or, your Monday morning scouting report? I mean, I know it's on YouTube. Is there any other place we can find that information?
Yeah. My YouTube, youtube.com/Wes Brown Scouting. My Twitter, twitter.com/Wes Blair Brown. And my Instagram is @Wes B Brown. Yeah. And my website, you can go to nbaprospects.com. I don't put anything publicly really there. I have like a back, login for my clients with reports and everything. But yeah, my social media, I put a lot of the, Canadian content stuff up there. And my YouTube, I give full scouting reports on some guys. So check it out.
Yeah, definitely. And where can we get the Monday hoodies? I see you rocking them everywhere. Where can we get those
Oh, new
hoodies?
drop soon. Yeah. My website, nbaprospects.com. They're going to drop soon. Like I just dropped a quick launch for the black and white ones, but we're going to do different colors and stuff. I mean, the kids love them. So we'll see what it turns into. It might be a full-fledged merch line.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, you do a great job, and keep up the great work. I mean, I'm sure hopefully maybe we'll see you on an NBA team, or this turns into a conglomerate and you're running all Canada, or
Yeah.
scouting all over the nation. Who knows? You might be expanding your brand pretty soon. So,
Yeah,
um,
no, I am. I'm gonna go to the US. I'm gonna go to the US this year.
awesome, awesome. That's great.
Yeah,
Well,
it'd be
happy
good.
to have you on the show, and catch you before you get big time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We'll
Yeah,
see.
no problem. Thanks, Wes.
Thanks.